Hi, welcome to another one of our Christmas specials. This is part 2 of It's a Wonderful Life movie review. Let's reflect.
Sunum bonum, peace be with you.
So now, after we went through the history of the film, what is the movie, now let's discuss what we felt, what were things that came to us when we were watching it, and the fun facts of the film.
Yeah.
So the first thing that hit me, and then like we said in the earlier film, Frank Capra was a Catholic. In the beginning of the movie, we hear people praying for this man. We don't know who the man is, but we hear them praying, and we see the intercession of Joseph. Joseph gets these messages, these prayers, and he sends out an angel, Clarence. And the other thing that I found out later on in the movie, when George Bailey is having a mental breakdown and he runs out of the house trying to commit suicide, the first thing the mother says to the children, go pray. And they go upstairs. And actually those prayers later on in the movie is what you hear in the beginning of the film.
Yep.
And I just think that really resonated with me. I've watched the film many, many times, but like actually sitting there thoroughly watching it, I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
People are praying for this individual in the beginning, and the power of prayer, and why we need to pray. Like, we're learning that through film. You know, I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but I was really, that really hit me.
That's pretty good. That's pretty amazing.
The good writing in the film. There's one character that keeps going, hee-haw, hee-haw, and he does it in the beginning as a kid, till the end of the movie, which he gives George Bailey, you know, George Bailey was out $8,000, he gives George Bailey the money, and literally goes, ee-haw, at the end. I think the writing in it is excellent. There was another instance where Uncle Billy, they're looking for the money at the end of the movie, and he says, you know, I opened up doors that I haven't opened since, you know, my wife died. You know, it's little details like that that makes it real. The writing is absolutely excellent. I think they had 4 writers on set for that film, and obviously they kept changing things throughout the movie. You know, a lot of our viewers are around the age of 25 to 40, and watching Wonderful Life, which they're probably going to relate to us, you know, there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where Mr. Potter, the villain in the town, says, you know, you shouldn't be giving loans to people to buy a home. Yeah. You know, they should save. And Jimmy Stewart goes, save? Save for what? And he's right, you know, and it's kind of really amazing that we can watch this movie made in the 40s, and look, the average, you know, adult from 25 to 40 can't even afford a home in America. You know, the prices have skyrocketed, and we can watch a movie from... It's another angel got their wings. Hallelujah. Anyway, carrying on, you know, it's kind of crazy that you can watch a movie in the 40s.
There's a lot of parallels.
That you can't afford a home, and back then, I'm sorry, that just kind of clicked for me. And George Bailey's like, you know, both our girlfriends, I mean, their wounds are only temporary. Like, if you want to build a family, you got to get a home. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so it's very relevant, you know, when George Bailey says, save for what? You know, people's life are going to go past them. They want to have kids, you know. Oh, the deep level of sin. So, like we discussed, you know, George Bailey, when he can't find the money, you know, the money, he goes into this wrath, right? Where he's crapping on his home, crapping on his kid playing, taking it out on his wife, looking at the house and going, oh, look at this horrible life I live, horrible. And that just hit me because I've been somebody
who's felt that way,
that has done that. And, you know, you were saying about, and we said it, you know, oh, well, that video's coming up later, but, you know, gratitude and not appreciating things and just, he's just crapping on everything. He says it's such a dark place, and not seeing the moral of the movie, which we'll get to later, is the little things you do, the love that you do has this greater
profound impact.
Profound impact on people's lives.
That George didn't even realize, you know, he
he didn't even realize he had this impact on people until he was shown what it looked like in that alternate timeline where he never was born and he never existed.
Yeah, and yeah, that it's just, yeah, it's just that deep level. That was something I was reading. I mean, I was watching and I was like, wow, that's me.
Yeah,
I've been there. And not appreciate, not seeing anything, just like so in your thought.
And the movie does a fabulous job demonstrating that in George Bailey's persona. So Jimmy Stewart as an actor did an amazing job where he had these ambitions. He's like, I'm gonna go travel the world and do this, and and it makes it, as the film progresses, it makes it look like that he just got his dreams taken away from him, that like he's not living like his life to the fullest. You know how like in our modern day, like even guys our age, it's like you gotta lock in, you gotta be like a bajillionaire and
you gotta get a college degree, you gotta follow this.
And he wanted that, but then the overarching, you realize that he has
God put him down.
God put him
for
down
a certain reason.
And he has been blessed so much, not just with his family, but like living in Bedford Falls and the townspeople, they all love him and know him. And then in the end, when they all come together and pool together their money to give him that money, it's like that's kind of like almost the fruit of his love, the fruit of his love coming to fruition, which is kind of beautiful in the very end of that. So that's what I really like about it, is it shows that no matter who you are, you don't have to be rich or famous or influential or whatever. Like, you're gonna touch people's lives in more ways than you realize, and in more profound and impactful ways than you realize. And I think that's really the message to take away from this movie. It's that it's an ordinary life. He's kind of living an ordinary life, not really on its face it looks like an ordinary life, but it really isn't. It really is something more impactful than that. And I think that's it's the way the movie tells that story is very beautiful. It's beautifully done, the way it tells it.
Another point I wrote down that I really liked was the guardian angel Clarence.
Yes.
And again, you look at it, this is a Catholic film. Whether people want to accept that, the cafeteria Christians out there, Word of God Christians. I'm sorry, I'm calling shots, but it is a Catholic film because in Catholicism and in the Orthodox Church, they believe in guardian angels. And Clarence is a guardian angel. Now, what is a guardian angel? Well, as a Catholic, we believe that there's an angel assigned to every single person. And Clarence is George Bailey's angel. And I just wrote that down. I was like, this is extraordinary how, Frank Capra, being a Catholic, was putting Catholicism in his work. Mm-hmm. Let's do the fun facts.
Yeah.
Or do you have anything else to say?
No, we can do the fun facts. Yeah, let's do it.
You all done or still going? Yeah, we're still shooting.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we recorded it, like we did so good 20 minutes, and then the mic wasn't on. Okay. All right. We're back.
Okay, we're back. From a little break.
Small little Equity 5.
Equity 5.
Union
Intermission.
5.
Yep.
Intermission.
We're promised that. Yep.
So here's our fun facts about the film. My favorite fun fact: Jimmy Stewart has PTSD. He was a veteran and he's suffering. There's a famous scene where he's at the bar drinking. Before he does the scene, he has a list of all the soldiers that died under him. He goes into the scene. He's doing the scene. And the people on the set are reading the script. They go, "Cut!" Jimmy Stewart didn't do any of the lines. He was praying for the soldiers that died under him. And they said to Frank Capra, the director, what do we do? He goes, "It's perfect." And when you look at that shot that's filmed, the shot, isn't on a different angle close-up. He has the still shot that he zooms in on because it was done in one take, and that was it. Like I said, he was going through his PTSD through this film. Mm-hmm. There's the famous scene where Uncle Billy, you hear the smashed garbage cans, and that was actually a cameraman that fell. And the actor, Uncle Billy, goes, "I'm all right. So and Jimmy Stewart laughing is Jimmy Stewart sincerely laughing. Yeah. And actually, I didn't say this. Frank Capra gave him $10 improving the scene, he called it.
Oh, really?
Which $10 is a lot of money back then. He gave that cameraman $10.
Wow, that's pretty good.
The snowflakes in the movie. So the snow in the movie was originally cornflakes sprayed white. and it wasn't working because when the actors were stepping, you're hearing
too much noise. Yeah.
They developed for this movie for the first time a thing called foamite, which is sugar and water that they sprayed. They were on a Hollywood set in California. If you see some of the shots, they're sweating because it was 100 degrees out in winter clothes when they're shooting it.
Mm-hmm.
A very interesting fun fact, at the end of the film, they wanted to end it with Jimmy Stewart doing the Lord's Prayer. And they wanted to end it with that. And I am so happy that Frank Capra changed it to all of the friends and family. It might seem to our fellow Catholics listening to this more sincere with the Lord's Prayer, but the bigger picture of the movie, of the community you helped, is the bigger picture to me.
And what's that line that Clarence leaves in the Tom Sawyer book that he leaves George, right? Because at the very end of the film, George gets all this money, and then Clarence, the guardian angel, leaves him the book. It's a Tom Sawyer book. And he writes in the book, and the quote is, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings, right? Because Clarence, in helping George, earned his wings. That's the whole idea behind thank you for the wings. But remember, no man is a failure who has friends, right? So he's really saying that if you have friends and family and loved ones and people around you who love you and you love them, then you're not truly a failure. You may not be the richest man in town. You may not be the most famous or influential or wealthy, or you might not.
Like you were kind of bringing out in society, everyone's trying to achieve top dog,
Everyone's trying to be top dog, alpha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's more to life than that.
There's more to life than that. Yep, and that's what this film beautifully shows, I think.
Yeah.
It really does.
Having a family, maybe you have a home that's like a 2-bedroom home, but you have a family and you might be richer than the rich multimillionaire that doesn't even have a relationship with their kids because they had to sacrifice it to be a multimillionaire.
Yeah. Like a question like what is true wealth, what is true happiness and true pursuit of the highest good,
Is the dinner table.
Yeah.
When you look at people eating at dinner table, that's important for a family to do that. And when you
are they there? Are they not there yet?
Mm-hmm. The last fun fact, and we'll finish off with this. In the movie, they say every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. There are 42 bells that ring in the movie.
Throughout the whole movie.
So 42 angels get their wing. We had 6 of them in one of the films. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Peace be with you.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy our Christmas special.